Hey everyone, it's 10 Types, and in this video, we are going to be ranking all the single prize Pokemon from Scarlet and Violet, or at least all the final evolutions, right? I'm not going to be ranking the pre-evolutions, because let's be honest, no one really cares about them. There's actually one that I'd like to include, but I'm not including it just because I'm not. So let's just start things off. Also, these are kind of hard to read, but I think we're just going to have to deal with that. So I'll start with a Heracross here. Heracross is kind of underwhelming. It doesn't do too much. It's kind of bad as well. Is it the worst? I'll put it in D tier. It's pretty underwhelming. Breloom here, completely generic F tier. Cacnea gets damaged or does damage when it's hit into kind of an interesting mechanic. Also colorless. I guess it'll make its sneak its way into C tier. We'll see how the other tiers are looking. Tropius. Tropius is kind of bad. I'll put in F tier as well. I think it's pretty boring. Vivillon and the pre-evolutions can auto-evolve. It's okay. I don't hate this one. I guess I'll put it in B tier. It's not great though. Go-Go. What does Go-Go even do? I should definitely pull up somewhere what these Pokemon do. Go-Go, I think it's pretty underwhelming though. It'll probably go in like D, maybe. Honestly, there's so many not interesting Pokemon from this set. You look at something like Meowscarada, I think is how you say it. I really need to learn how to pronounce these Pokemon, but I also don't really feel like it. So, yeah, we're just stuck with this. But Meowscarada is kind of generic. I don't even remember what its attack it does. But it's like a starter, so it should be cool. Oh, I got Go-Go here. Oh, it just flip coin. Yeah, sorry. Go-Go's boomed out to F. So Meowscarada is like pretty boring. It says you may put energy attached to your opponent's active into their hand. I mean, that's not the worst thing in the world. I guess they'll sneak us win C as like a starter, but I wish it was cooler. Arboliva, what is that? Yeah, Arboliva is I think how you pronounce it. You can evolve into it and like heals all damage from one of your Pokemon. Honestly, I like this. I'm gonna put it in B tier. Is it A tier? Let's see what else we got here. I'll keep it out of A tier for now. It's not great. It's not like particularly viable or strong. It's like a stage 2 without a really fun effect, so it's just gonna stay in B. No, what is it? Toadstool. I don't know. This one's kind of meh. I guess it'll be top of C. These Pokemon aren't that interesting. Really, anything below B is just kind of not interesting. Villain, kind of interesting, being grass and fire, but not like that interesting. It's not like fun, and it's impractical as well with the fire type, so I'll just put it in D. Houndoom, it does actually have a fire type Houndour, which is moderately important, but like not that important. It has power as well. I'll put in bottom of C. It's super boring though. Torkoal, this will be an A, with like an interesting attack here. I like the idea of. Oh, I just realized you can't see the edge of the things. I'm going to zoom back out so you can actually see the tier list. Yeah, it's just S through F. Torkoal here is like kind of interesting with this coin flips for each fire energy attached. It's not that good or like super fun, but at least it's something kind of interesting. It reminds people of stuff like Maractus and Blissey, I think it was, with similar style attacks. The issue is that, excuse me, I'm still sick. This one it's fire. It doesn't have like the tools. That's fine. Skeledirge. This one's more interesting than Meowscarada. It's a starter. It's just kind of cool. It has energy explosion and big damage. I'll put it in like bottom of B tier. Or is it top of C? Yeah, I'll put it in bottom of B. I'm gonna move down. Nah, Pavilion with the like fast evolution is kind of cool. Armarouge here, easily S tier, I think. Very fun, allowing you to power fire Pokemon. It's super strong. I think it gives fire type a lot more versatility and viability as well. Very fun and unique as well. I mean, it's not super unique, but we've seen other Pokemon like it, but still really cool. And definitely a Pokemon you should check out, get it, mess around with it. Very nice with the Arcanine EX and some other fire Pokemon. Zoroark I played. It's very cool. I think easily one of the coolest Pokemon in the set. Slowbro will be top of A. It's viable. It's kind of cool. Not quite S tier, but I think it's very strong. Honestly, it might be one of the strongest single prizes in this set. It would be cooler if it like I don't know. It's pretty cool, but in its own right, it doesn't actually do very much, so that's fine. Although that's fitting with Slowbro. It moves damage counters to itself. It's kind of a strange mechanic. Um, its interactions with Cheryl are kind of weird with the ability to like heal a lot, but then I don't know. It's a cool Pokemon. I'm not sure. I haven't fully formed opinions on it yet, but it's seen play and it's I'd say A tier. Floatzel, a water. No, what's it called? I don't know. It doesn't more damage for each energy attached. It's fine. It'll be like top of C, I guess. It's not like really viable. Alo, what is this Pokemon? Alomomola? I keep talking about this one. And I keep not pronouncing it right. I think it's like, I think it's pretty generic though. So yeah, it's probably like top of D. Launcher, super boring again. I'd say this one's actually, it's like worse as a stage 1. So I'll put it in like, I'll put it in top of F, I guess, for now. Yeah, that's fine. This Bruxish, pretty boring. Top of D. I'm gonna move this down. Actually, I'm gonna move both of these down. They're just super boring. Quavel, I think that's how you say it. Again, I don't know how to say this. I don't know. It can accelerate energy anywhere. It's kind of cool. I'll put it top of B. It's not super strong, but it's borderline viable. And it's not impossible that it'll end up seeing play because it can accelerate. I think it's only basic, but any type of basic energy. Theoretically, some versatility. It's like a really bad version of Mirage Gate or Archeops. I mean, it's honestly comparing it to Archeops now. Archeops is kind of bad. So Quavel is kind of fun. I just don't think it's good enough, obviously, because it's pretty slow in a stage 2, but it's still kind of cool. Actually, it's probably worse than Arboliva. But it's a starter, so starter privilege. Put it above there. So now we got Wugtrio. I know some people love this one. I'll put it top of A. It's not S tier. It's not very good. I don't know. See, someone said that I should put in S tier. I don't. It's not. It's not that good, right? It's just kind of bad. No, I can't put it above Slowbro. It's cool, but it's not that cool. And S tier is really reserved for the rest of the best, and it's not there. It's fun. It's really fun, but it's not actually like there's no way to control coin flips. It's just a funny looking Pokemon, and it's kind of cool and kind of viable. So Titan here does big damage unless the damage counters are on it. This will be top of B, I guess. So Titan's a cool Pokemon, and this is a cool card. It's not like super good, but I think it might end up seeing some play. And obviously its ability to hit big damage is always good. So it's nothing like insane though. We see Dondozo here, and then also Tatsugiri. Dondozo will end up in A tier, bottom of A tier, I think. Above. No, it's above these two. It's like viable, honestly, and it's pretty alright. Doing more damage for each Tatsugiri in your bench or in your discard. I wish it was more interesting, though. Right now it's pretty boring and generic. They played it very safe, which is fine. I'd like to see them make it more interesting. Those are in the future, but this Tatsugiri is super cool. Top of S for now. Will anything beat it? I'm not sure. It's one of my favorite Pokemon from the set with its ability to accelerate energy and be hit and run. Two very powerful and versatile effects. I honestly think Tatsugiri is the most... I think it's one of the best Pokemon in this set because its ability to accelerate energy, which is something we've seen be very good, specifically on Pokemon like Bolton V, Volcanion, Baby Volcanion, and it's not as good as those, but it's still pretty good. And it's also livable, searchable, and then, excuse me, its attack to like hit and run is also nice. I think it could see a lot of play if it finds the right deck. Okay, now we have Pachirisu. This one's been actually a surprise. Surprisingly, like solid. Probably bottom of A tier though. It's not super interesting, but I think it's like moderately cool. Because it just like hits solid damage, and yeah, there's not too much to say about it, but it slots nicely into a few decks. So I'll give it bottom of A with its viability. And now we actually run into like a really interesting situation where so. Obviously, they're like Pokemon EX, and I'm not talking about the EXs or the Pokemon that evolve into them. There's actually a Flaffy that doesn't evolve into anything. Presumably, it's supposed to evolve into an Ampharos EX that we just aren't getting in this set, so we're just skipping that. But now we have a couple of Rotom. This one with a little bit of Snipe. Pretty meh. I guess top of C. I think it's kind of cool, but it's not very good either. Then we see this other Rotom with this ability to recover an item, and also paralysis on a coin flip. Honestly, this is going top of B. I think it actually has the competitive potential with control decks, and I like the card. I don't love it though. It's pretty boring to be honest, but it's kind of fun. Toxicity with some like disruption elements. It'll go like in B tier, like above Avilion and Skeledirge. That's kind of cool. The disruption. It's just not very strong. It like removes cards I think from their hand. Yeah, but no, it's random. It's okay, but it's not amazing. And it forces them to shuffle their deck, which is moderately problematic because you can't control their top deck now. Palmot, this one's kind of fun. I was hoping it'd be cooler. With its ability to accelerate energy to itself, that's kind of fun. I'm honestly just a fan of this Pokemon with Fear Tree, but it's not very strong. So I'll probably just put it in. It goes like here and B. Nah, it goes like here. It's kind of fun, but nothing amazing. It's not very strong or viable, I wouldn't say. Even with powerful tools like Electricity Generator, you're looking for just a better stage 2. Its high damage output's nice, but it's a bit awkward to power up still. Kilowatt Troll, this one's pretty generic as well. It's a C tier. Yeah, it's probably like top of. Yeah, it's probably like it's top of C with some ability to snipe and an ability to just being able to do like solid damage. It's whatever. It's okay, but I'll put it above Cacnea and does it belong above Toadscroll? Is that what it's called? I think it's called Toadscroll. Probably not. I think Toadscroll is moderately interesting. It also like moves energy to the bench. So it could be some control, but it's not good enough, I don't think. So yeah, it'll just end up right there. And then I'm gonna go for Miraidon's next. Let's see. So Miraidon's kind of whatever. It's like a box legendary, but it's really generic. Honestly, it has privilege. Being a box legendary, it'll be like a C tier, just around here. Floatzel is boring. I'm gonna move it down to the bottom of the C. But yeah, I think Miraidon's pretty boring. It's not particularly good, but it's not the worst thing we've ever seen. It's whatever. Also, surprising that we got a box legendary in this set. Usually we wouldn't. But anyways, we just see them as EXs or multi prizes, not single prizes. Hypno, fun idea, top of C, because it like copies its opponent's attacks, but it's on a coin flip, so it's just not good enough. And consistent enough to be fun. Drift Blim, damage spread, like damage counters, and the Drift Balloon's also kind of good. Theoretically, in Gardevoir, I'll put it on top of. Put it right here and like near the top of B tier. I think that's theoretically kind of cool, but not great in reality. Floor just removing weakness. I guess I'll push it to the bottom of B. Nah, I'll push it even higher than that. Theoretically, removing weakness, removing weakness is very good, but you're never gonna get it off as a stage 2, which is not good enough. So I'll just put it in bottom of B. Now we actually have multiple Dedenes. This one moves an energy on a coin flip. A super meh, bottom of C tier. Not great, but it's fine. So the Dedenne with Second Bite doing essentially the same thing as Farfetch'd. I'm wondering if this could be good in like a deck like Gardevoir. I'll put it in top of B for now. I think it has some viable potential, but I don't think it's amazing either. Klefki, this is easily an A tier Pokemon. It's not super fun. It's pretty viable, but it's kind of toxic as well. It's a top of A. It's probably around here. It's a good Pokemon. It like counters the best deck in the game, which is Lost Box. Like I stand by that. That's the best deck. But it's kind of not fun. And honestly, it can like struggle to provide a lot of value in certain matchups. Dachshund. This one's Dachshund. Dog fun? I don't know. I'm not a dog person. Yeah, this one's okay. It's immune to fire, which is kind of a funny gimmick. We've seen it before. It can't be burned. I'll put it on top of C. It could be okay, I guess. Nah, man, it's kind of bad. Next we got Espathra. This one's like super generic too. I don't really like it. I just find it kind of ugly too. I'm just gonna put it on top of D. It's not great. What's it called? I was gonna say is it Houndstone? It is Houndstone, yeah. With the pre-evolution Greavard, which is also viable. This one's B A. I mean, like somewhere around here. I think it's like viable. It's kind of awkward to use, but I like the idea of it, and I think it could see solid value. It's not amazing, but it's okay. Oh, Annihilate. I like this a lot. I'm gonna put this atop of a really fun card. It does big damage. I think it will become a very competitively viable as well. I think honestly now it is competitively viable. It's not great, but it's okay. Hits very hard. Very efficient attacker. Honestly, in terms of just pure power, it's like the best Pokemon. It's in contention, in my opinion, for the most like powerful Pokemon we've ever seen. With its ability to just do so much damage for only one energy, you can one shot anything. And the second attack's not bad either. But I think it's just a stage 2, a bit too awkward to step right now, but still very solid. Medicham, I mean, no one plays this. Stops you from using certain attacks, and ID on a coin flip's not like the worst thing in the world. It'll probably end up somewhere in like the middle of the C tier, I suppose. Lucario, pretty cool one here. Honestly, competitively viable. So I'll put it like here. I like it. If fighting becomes good, I think this Lucario's value. I think we're getting Lucario EX. This would definitely see play. There's the other single prize Lucario, so I think Lucario, I guess, archetype style of deck is actually seeing like forming together. It's kind of cool. I really like it. It's just not like fighting is kind of bad right now. So yeah, that's unfortunate. Crocodile. I mean, it's whatever. It's a generic Pokemon. I guess I'll put in A or B. It does like value, but it's not great. Also, I don't like Vivillon and Toxtricity here. I'm gonna move Vivillon and Toxtricity down, just like that, into the C tier. Crocodile's like fine though. Hawlucha, this has to be I think A tier. It's like an obvious A tier Pokemon. With its ability to just Dedenne is gonna move down. So is Floatzel and Cacti. Is Cacti moving down? Nah, that's fine. Hawlucha is really good though. It's like super solid. With its ability to ping. Unfortunately, without Scoop of Net and the ability to hit the active, it's nowhere near as good as. I'm figuring out where to put this. I'll put it right here. It's nowhere near as good as Galarian Zigzagoon, unfortunately, but it's still cool, and I think it has potential to be very strong in the future as well. And right now, it's still viable as well. Sandaconda, really cool idea. Almost impossible to power up, but I think with its cool idea and theoretical potential and control, I think it'll land itself a spot in the middle of B tier here. Just being, I'll put it here. It's like theoretically really cool, but in reality, it's probably just not ever gonna be like good enough because it's just so much energy. The Stonjourner's meh. It's like definitely a C tier. I also kind of like this Pokemon with its ability to be tanky. I think it has almost some competitive viability, but at the same time, like it's not that good, right? This Cloth, similar idea. I like these two. To be honest, they're fun Pokemon. I'm gonna put Cloth like just below Stonjourner there, because I want to see fun Pokemon be good again. And they're cool Pokemon, and the cards are like certainly all right. They're pretty generic. I should probably move them Cloth down some specifically. But I'll move it down like here. Koraidon, kind of similar, but it's like it hits really hard, but it needs so much energy. And honestly, I'd rather like I want it to hit harder. Pretty generic too. It's legendary. I'll put it right next to Miraidon, I suppose. Muck, like let's be honest, this Muck's whatever. It like stops poison being removed on evolution, but like that's not that good. Even with this poison style archetype we're seeing, I don't think it'll see play. But I think it'll sneak into B tier right here. Seviper, moderately interesting poison Pokemon. Again, with like the poison archetype. I'll put it like right here, right next to Mach. The poison archetype, if you don't know, in the next set where I think we're getting a, what's it called? Paldean Clodsire, something like that. I don't remember what the Pokemon's called. But we're seeing that, and it EX, and it poisons Pokemon, and then you can punish your opponent with poison. And Seviper's a way to do that, and Muk kind of does it as well. So I think this like could. Muk's not great. I'll move Muk down. That's fine. So, Spiritomb, its ability to gust and its ability to take instant KOs, it's kind of fun. So Viper, yeah, I can say. So it'll probably go like here. It's theoretically viable if you could use it in like a control, just stalling style deck, as well as punishing your opponent by getting them trapped. I think it's theoretically viable. I think no one's going to use it, though. It just looks kind of bad, but it's okay, to be honest. I think both of its attacks have versatility. It's like a really bad. It has the same principles as Tatsugiri here. It's just like really boring. King Gambit. I honestly really like this line, but it doesn't hit. It's just like awkward to set up. I'm going to put it on top of B, though. I think the ability to boost your basic damage is really nice, and also it can stack, and also there's the idea that like you can attack with it, so it's okay. It's not like great, but I think it has potential, and it might end up seeing play at some point, but probably not. But it's a solid Pokemon. The boss stiff, forcing your opponent to the bench up once every turn if you want. I think the disruption is kind of good. I don't know. It seems like it should be good. I'll put it at bottom of A. We haven't seen it see any play yet, I don't think. But it seems like it has a viability. I think it's definitely like the bottom tier of viability, though. Oh, sorry if I bumped my mic. Bombardier, pretty generic. It'll land in B tier. It's like a just generic attacking Pokemon that isn't particularly interesting, but not awful either. Now it's probably like, I'll bump it down to C tier, somewhere around here. There's now Fortress. This is another generic Pokemon, probably ending in C tier. I should probably move some of these down to D tier. Nah, there are some like awful ones coming too. Fortress is like whatever. I'll put it above the legendaries here. Cacturn's like kind of fun. I kind of like it. I'll move it down to D tier. And Kilowatt will too. Make the tier list pretty symmetrical. Revroom easy S tier, right? Very strong. I'll put it. It's not as interesting as Armors or Tatsugiri, but it's very strong. It's certainly an S tier Pokemon with its ability just to draw like tons of cards throughout the course of the game. I think it's like a very solid. It's not like anything insane. I personally think Barbarrel's better, but it's certainly like a great card and one of the best cards to come out of the set, even if it's not the best draw right now. Blissey, removing special conditions, it's fine. It does the Blissey thing, but its attack's pretty boring here as well. It does move into the bench. I don't like despise this Pokemon. I'll put it at bottom of B. Yeah, that's fine. Zangoose, like this is the most generic Pokemon ever. It's better than Breloom, I guess, but no, I'll put it bottom of F tier. Like this is so boring. It's above Breloom, I guess. I don't know. It's not great. This other Zangoose is pretty boring as well. I'll put it theoretically potentially viable in control. That's bottom of D. I can't really justify putting it out of there. Staraptor, I honestly really like this one. It'll go top of B. A. Nah, it's not. It can't go into A. It'll be below King Gambit, but King Gambit's pretty cool. Staraptor with this ability to just wall basics. It's the same thing as Obstagoon. I really like this Pokemon, but I probably won't see any play. I think the idea of it's really cool, but I don't know. It's fine and it's whatever. I think. Greedent here. So obviously it evolves into Squirtle, one of the coolest Pokemon from this set. But it's not Squirtle, so I'll put it like it needs to be an A tier. I'll put it like somewhere around here. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. And then in DD, honestly, I really like this in DD. I think this in DD we'll see play at some point. Will I put it? Yeah, I'll put it into A tier. Which ability to like evolve your bench Pokemon. It's the same thing as like the Psychic Diancie that literally won a world championship. So I mean, it's not quite the same, but it's pretty much the same. Actually, it's better being colorless as well. The Fairy Diancie, which is super good, won 2017 Worlds, I think. Very good card. I think Indeedee will see play. I don't know if it's great, but I think it's pretty solid with your ability to like cheat out evolutions. Oinkologne here. This one's like super boring. Lechonk's funny, but it's just gonna end up in D tier. It's pretty like awful. You wouldn't really ever play this. Maybe an Oinkologne EX, but I don't think you'd play it still. Mousehold, certainly one of the coolest Pokemon. Nah, probably is top of B. With the Mousehold, this one's like kind of good, and then with the next set, Paldea Evolved, I think it's called. There'll be another Mousehold. I hope it's the next set. I don't really know when it's coming, but we're gonna see another Mousehold. The idea is to get lots of Mouseholds into play, and you actually have a toolbox, like a Mousehold toolbox, which is kind of funny. So I'm excited for this one. I haven't really played it, but it seems cool. Is it viable? Not really, but is it fun? It's super fun. It might become viable as well. Squawkabilly with a call for family and a fly attack. It's whatever. It's probably top of C. Not really standard viable, but it's just kind of cool. Salazar. So this one's really like boring, despite being like a pseudo legendary or whatever. It's not like a pseudo legendary, but it's like kind of legendary. Um, but it's like so boring. It's like F tier, honestly. Now we have Salazar. Salazar is super cool. This other one, with Fear Tree, it's like competitively viable, honestly. So I'll put it above like these two. I'll put it like here. I think Salazar is like okay with Sphere Tree, ability to draw cards. It's definitely viable. I don't know if I'd choose to like play it, but it's okay. And then we see Tatsugiri here. No, that's not Tatsugiri. I don't know why I said that. Flamigo. Flamigo's like pretty boring too. It's F tier, and it's also like one of the most boring Pokemon you've ever seen, which is kind of like the point, but still. So yeah, this is the tier list. Yeah, this is where I'm ending it. But I hope you enjoyed. I hope you enjoyed Scarlet Violet, and tell me if I made any mistakes you think. But yeah, I think this is where all the Pokemon go. Obviously, there's so many, and a lot of them just aren't really interesting. Anything below C is just boring and kind of like not very interesting. But anything being above, I think, is useful. But I hope you enjoyed. As always, I'm excited to see you in the next video.